In 1980, AC/DC was completely devastated by the sudden death of their iconic frontman, Bon Scott. Desperate to find a new voice, they recruited a 32-year-old who was completely done with the music industry, working an everyday job fixing vinyl car roofs and windshields. That man was Brian Johnson, and within months of leaving his auto repair shop, he laid down the vocals for what eventually became the best-selling rock album of all time, Back in Black. This is my review of why this one classic AC/DC album, Back in Black, still makes $3,438,400 every year in music royalties. Let's get right into it. The first category of royalty streams we'll take a look at for the AC/DC album Back in Black is physical and digital album sales. Take a look at this infographic that I created. Based on sales data compiled by music tracking platform Chartmasters and algorithmic projections, Back in Black continues to sell roughly 200,000 physical and digital album copies every single year worldwide, generating about $7.50 to $9.50 in gross profit. That's before anybody takes a cut. It can be estimated that the band ultimately receives between 20 to 25% of the record label's wholesale revenue. This means that AC/DC receives between $1.50 and $2.50 per album sold. Using an estimated $1.90 in artist royalties per album sold, which falls comfortably within this range, those annual sales produce about $380,000 in music royalties. The proceeds are distributed according to the band members signed to the record contract. Next up are mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties are music royalties paid to the songwriters every time Back in Black is reproduced as a physical vinyl album, CD, cassette tape, or permanent digital download. Since the album contains 10 songs, and the current U.S. statutory mechanical royalty rate is 12.4 cents per song, that's about $1.24 in gross mechanical royalties for each album sold. Based on those figures, the album generates an estimated $248,000 in gross mechanical royalties each and every year. After publisher administration fees, collection costs, and international royalty processing, the album's songwriters typically receive between 75 and 90% of the gross mechanical royalties. Based on an average lowball estimate of 80%, the AC/DC Back in Black album generates an estimated $198,400 in songwriter mechanical royalties every year, shared equally among Angus Young, Brian Johnson, and the estate of Malcolm Young. Driven by massive daily playlist consumption on major digital streaming platforms, the audio streaming category represents AC/DC's largest single recurring music royalties engine for their classic album, Back in Black. Based on industry standard models and catalog metrics, the album Back in Black generates roughly 400 million global on-demand streams annually across the dominant platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and Deezer. The blended digital service provider payout ranges between $3,000 and $4,000 per 1 million streams, with an estimated average of about $3,500 per million streams. Streaming music royalties revenue is split between master recording rights, which are those who own the actual recording, and publishing rights, those who own the songs. The band's entity takes 70 to 80% of the digital master payout after distribution fees. Designated songwriters receive an additional 12% in streaming publishing royalties. So combined, the AC/DC ecosystem retains nearly 100% of the annual payout, which is estimated at $1.4 million. Most of the music streaming revenue flows to the band partnership entity, which handles master recording payouts for the entire band. In addition, the album's songwriting trio of Angus Young, Brian Johnson, and the Malcolm Young estate receives publishing cuts directly from their collection societies. Next up are public performance royalties, the massive, invisible revenue stream that kicks in every single time a song from the AC/DC album Back in Black blasts out of a car radio, echoes through a packed sports stadium, or anchors a classic rock block at a local bar. This cash doesn't come from retail stores. It accumulates through massive global blanket licensing fees collected by powerhouse performing rights organizations like ASCAP and BMI. When you tally up all the songs on this classic AC/DC album, this broadcasting powerhouse pulls in a steady $450,000 a year in public performance music royalties. The beauty of this pipeline is that 100% of the writer's share bypasses the corporate middlemen, and the music royalty payouts go directly to the album's songwriters by the performing rights organizations, equally distribute exclusively to Angus Young, Brian Johnson, and the estate of Malcolm Young. Next up are sync licensing royalties. Sync licensing is the high-stakes world where the AC/DC album Back in Black crashes into Hollywood, paying out massive premium fees whenever these iconic rock tracks are legally locked to moving images on screen. We're talking about blockbuster money here, with flat fees starting at $100,000 for mid-tier TV and film scene placements, and easily clearing $500,000 for a single major brand campaign and movie trailer placements. Because filmmakers and global advertisers are desperate to hijack that legendary AC/DC energy, like pumping up Tony Stark's grand entrance in Iron Man, fueling Spider-Man Far From Home, or driving massive ad campaigns for Applebee's and Walmart, the demand never cools down. Based on a combined estimate of 4 to 6 mid-tier to major sync licenses a year, these deals generate a staggering $1 million in gross annual revenue. The band holds all the leverage, walking away with 100% of that massive payday, minus a standard 10 to 25% cut for the sync agents and publishers who hustle to close the deals. When the music royalty payments are processed, the spoils are sliced right down the middle in a strict 50-50 division of power. Half goes straight into the band partnership entity to reward the core band members who laid down the audio tracks in the studio. The other half is funneled equally to the three mastermind songwriters, the Young brothers and Brian Johnson. Finally, we look at digital print and sheet music. These digital downloads pull in a standard rate of 15 to 20% of the customer retail price, with individual song charts retailing for $4.99 to $6.99. When the dust settles, the creators clear roughly 45% of the total pie. This leaves the camp with an estimated total band cut of $10,000 a year. The cash funnels directly to the songwriters Angus Young, Brian Johnson, and the estate of Malcolm Young. And this is why this one classic AC/DC album still makes $3.4 million every year in music royalties.